p.m. and you're very much welcome to the show as a final edition for the week. That is, as Hadfouts comes away Mondays through to Fridays, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's a Friday. Fridays are good because Fridays officially kickstarts the weekend. And quite personally, I'm sure I've said this many times, the Friday edition of Hadfouts is my favorite edition of the show because, well, the weekends are here. And the weekends are a very good thing, absolutely. You're welcome once again. I hope your week has been a productive one. Things are working out. Things are looking up in spite of the many challenges we have to deal with as a people, as a nation. But gradually, steadily, and definitively, I'm certain, we are getting to a Nigeria that we all will be very much proud of to call our own. But you have a responsibility. I do as well, obviously. We all have roles to play to ensure that does happen. But whatever the week has been for you, I hope you've made plans to, let off some steam this weekend in whatever way you possibly can. And while you're at it, be responsible not just for yourself, but for others around you as well. So on the show today, a few matters we're going to be discussing as always from now till 7 o'clock. At about 7, the show comes to an end. The sports gang will be in the studio for extra time, bringing you all the action from the world of sports. Last week, and throughout the week as well, it was an international break for the major leagues across Europe as World Cup qualifiers have been played in Europe, in North America, in Africa as well. And there was the European Nations League also. But those have come to an end now. And the major leagues resume from today, I believe. This weekend they're back. Premier League is back. The La Liga, Serie A. Who's played who? Catch all the action with the sports gang and other major sporting activities to board over from 7 o'clock. But between now and then, a few matters we have up for discussion. Now, usually, Hadfact starts with some side comments, random stories, random thoughts of mine, and then I get into a rant, my thoughts on one major issue, and I expect to get your take on mine till about 4 o'clock. However, that will not be happening today. Sorry if that disappoints you, but there will be no rant on today's edition of Hadfact. And usually when there is no rant, if you've been listening to the show for some time, you might identify that it's for a very important reason. Said important reason you will find out in a moment. That takes us to 4 o'clock. Some discussion comes up shortly, by the way, till 4. At 4, we've got the business news coming up. After that, I've got paid interview coming up. That takes us, you find out what that is in the 4 o'clock hour. Till about 5 o'clock, we got the news update at 5 p.m. And after that, honorables, excellencies, public office holders, and the schools that their children go to will be the focus of the conversation on the show today. Vis-a-vis story, courtesy ASU. ASU is at it again with the federal government. Actually, I think there never has been, possibly, at least in recent times, that ASU has not had some issue or the other with the federal government. And sometimes you simply think, when will they go on strike? Not will they go on strike. It's a matter of when, really. And ASU is talking again on the news on our bulletin from earlier on today. ASU says the federal government is slow in implementing the memorandum of agreement they reached last year. ASU President Professor Emmanuel Osodeke expressed the union's displeasure during a meeting with the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, in Abuja. He also raised concern over poor funding of the education sector in the country. He, however, urged the National Assembly to initiate a law that makes it compulsory for public office holders to send their awards to public schools in the country, saying such a step would let the officials know the decay in public universities. Will then have the impact that the ASU president thinks it will have. Might it not be a violation of the rights of these public office holders as well to mandate them to do that? Well, I'll get your take on that in the 5 o'clock hour. After the news update, we got headlines 5:30, major news at 6 p.m. Open season comes up after that till about 7 o'clock when the show wraps up and comes to an end today. But let's get on with the first matter of discourse on the show. I did mention just a while ago that there will be no rant today, and it's for a very good reason. If you were around the garrison area of Port Harcourt yesterday, you may have observed a very unusual scene, especially at a particular time. And even if you weren't, if you've been in Port Harcourt or you've been on social media or the internet earlier today or from last night, you may have also come across some most unusual development indeed. Now, said development featured on our news earlier. Police have arrested 2 staff of the company whose billboard showed pornographic content at garrison in Port Harcourt yesterday. The billboard displayed the content for 60 seconds before it was removed. Speaking of this, the acting chairman of Rivers State Signage Agency, RISAA, Honorable Tony Okeah, said the culprit will be prosecuted after police investigation. Mr. Okeah said the billboard has now been shut down as the content displayed yesterday caused a public nuisance. Let's hear what Honorable Okeah had to say to our correspondent on this most unusual development indeed. One I dare say has never happened in Port Harcourt, if even anywhere else in the country for that matter. But do take a listen to this.
The agency is troubled, we are vexed, and all necessary steps have been taken to ensure that this does not happen anymore, to serve as deterrent to any other organization or company that does advertisement business in Rivers State. When our attention was drawn late yesterday evening, we had the culprits arrested, and as you can see, this structure is shut down. It's now under our custody as long as the investigation continues. We will verify the remote cause of this, whether it is an act of sabotage or negligence.
The RISAA acting chairman also said the Advertising Practitioners Council should be held responsible for allowing the billboard company to display such content. Let's take a listen to him.
The agency responsible for the vetting of content will be held responsible. They will be able to speak to the country whether this company got vetting right or got certification that such matters are indecent in nature be exposed to him.
How could such a thing have happened in the first place? What steps have been taken to address the situation? What measures are being put in place to ensure it never happened again? I'm sure you have questions and several others. Well, I'll be asking some of the questions right now. And who else? Nobody else better qualified to answer these questions than the acting chairman of the River State Signage and Advertisement Agency himself, Honorable Anthony Okeah. He joins me in the studio right now. Honorable Okeah, Chairman, good evening to you. Good day. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Good day. Thank you. There you.
The first question, and I think arguably or possibly the most important question and the one that's raging in everyone's mind at the moment is everyone who saw it yesterday or who saw it on social media or had it sent to them via WhatsApp, because I think it's gone viral right now, is how could this have happened in the first place? So when did your agency first become aware of this situation, and from investigations thus far, what led to this? Because an agency owns that billboard, so there must be a storyline to how this could have happened in the first place. Could you let us into this?
Okay. Well, thank you very much for having me. In fact, as one of your regular guests. But today's appearance appears to be different because I will have to throw more light on exactly what transpired. To be honest with you, just what we did this morning, it was a visit to the location in question. That was what we did this morning. I granted a press conference. It all happened yesterday. The moment we left the office, usually we close at 4. I was back home when my attention was drawn to the fact that an illicit material, obscene for that matter, is being displayed at the newly refurbished LED, that's the electronic billboard at RISAA flyover axis. So I called upon my staff. We got there quickly with the help of security operatives. We got them and nabbed them. Even as we got there, they were still busy, unknown to them, watching pornography on their laptop, unknown that it's been aired. They did not even know why we got there, not until when they were apprehended and compelled them to shut down the equipment, and then they were whisked away to Lobasanjo police station.
We'll come back to this, Chairman, in a moment, this particular incident and what's been happening thus far. But this billboard, you said, interestingly, you said just now, you said recently refurbished billboard. Yeah. So has the billboard been there before? Had it been operational before? Or did it just begin operation?
That was exactly what led to the issue. The company that owns the billboard has other installations. In fact, they've been operating prior to my appointment. So at the period they were constructing the Romola Bridge, they had one. By virtue of the construction, they were meant to remove not just them, but actually every other operators within that axis, and they took out all. That was what made them to now come back for refurbishment of this particular one. It's been existing.
Okay. But
during the construction of the RISAA flyover, we stopped them not to do anything in terms of trying to put the equipment back until maybe subsequent time. And that was what they did. By the time they were even carrying out the refurbishment, we were informed. That was what baffled us. We were informed. The Ministry of Urban Development was informed, including works, so for purpose of knowing exactly what they are doing there. We did all that and everything was fine and good. So the common practice is that even though the agency does not have any power, any authority to vet materials, they ought to have notified the agency to say that, look, we're about embarking on this. We're about test running the LED program. None. We did not get any such notification. Neither did APCON. I do not know. They will speak for themselves. Because that responsibility lies solely on them. The RISAA, as an agency, is mandated by law to only regulate and issue licenses on signages, hoardings, and advertisement. Nothing else, nothing more. We do not have control. We cannot vet materials, no matter how little, whether pictorial, whether write-ups and all that. Imagine where even a church will want to put up banners. The printer who will do the printing mustn't come to RISAA. Where does he go? He goes to APCON, wherein they will vet every item, blow by blow, to ensure that it complies with their rules and regulations.
So this art agency shut down the facility for a while because construction going on.
Yeah.
Now that the facility, the LED billboard, was coming back on stream online, should have notified RISAA
Yes.
that we're going to be back. They did not do that.
They didn't.
But supposedly they were test running the facility again.
Apparently.
And then this material came on board. So your agency was notified of it, and immediately you swung into action.
Immediately.
So your operatives, your officers, yourself, security operatives got there to that facility last night. Let's take it from there. So you apprehended how many persons?
2 persons.
Are they staff of the ad agency?
Apparently. Not the company. The company name is E-Motion Nigeria Limited.
Okay.
Yeah. They've been there. I mentioned it before, even before my appointment. They are big. They are big in town, in Nigeria. They're one of the biggest in the industry. So that is what happened. And irrespective of the fact that the agency is only saddled to regulate the installation, the physical structures of billboards, we cannot close our eyes. We cannot gloss over things happening within the sector.
That's why I had to ask you this question. Now, if RISAA simply grants permissions for installations, for example, if a person wants to put up a signpost, I've had you here, you sat on that chair several times. If a person wants to put up, even if it's Mr. Emmanuel and Sons spare parts, they want to put up that signpost in front of their shop, that's RISAA's responsibility.
Yes.
But the actual lettering of Mr. Emmanuel and Sons is not RISAA's responsibility.
It's not entirely our business.
So you had granted, as was not strange, this organization permission to install the facility there, obviously after due process was followed. So why did you then have to be the one to swing into action once that billboard was displaying content that was not suitable? Why did you have to take up that responsibility?
I mentioned it before, that even though we do not have such authority to vet materials, we will not gloss over such things since it borders on advertisement. And it is our state here for us to protect. We cannot. Even without us going there, you, Dayo, could as well had gone there to arrest. Because one, it has provoked the public conscience. It has caused public nuisance. And you know what that means? It's going to pollute the minds of all, whether young or an adult. And that cannot be tolerated at this period. We are not in a primitive society. So RISAA or any other civil-minded individual could have done what we did. And so we did what we did. Whether we are doing the work of ACON at that point, it does not matter. What matters is the protection of the sanity of the area.
It is Harcourt 91.3 Nigeria Info Port Harcourt. I've got Honorable Anthony Okeah. He is the acting chairman of RISAA. We're discussing the very strange incident of involving an LED billboard in Port Harcourt sometime yesterday. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we return, we'll just delve into the investigation thus far and what steps RISAA is taking to ensure stiff punishment, no doubt, for this most unusual development, and what steps are being taken to ensure it doesn't happen again. Just stay tuned. Hard Fast returns shortly.
We give the facts.
News entirely.
We give the evidence. Just to keep you informed.
News, weather.
I get my information top of the hour every hour.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
And now, Hard Facts.
Hard Facts with Dio.
Okay, back to this Hard Fact to Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dio. I'm joined in the studio right now by the acting chairman of RISAA, Honorable Anthony Okeah. And yesterday, an unusual development involving a billboard at Garrison in Port Harcourt displaying most unusual content indeed. And that development is what we're discussing right now. Chairman, you're welcome once again.
Thank you.
Now, so your agency, led by yourself, of course, swung into action. Immediately this came to your attention. Now, these fellows have been apprehended. What has investigations revealed thus far? You mentioned some of that a while ago. They didn't even know that anything was going on or people were coming to apprehend them. So from investigations conducted thus far, what have you been able to decipher was the reason for what happened yesterday?
Okay. Clearly, I will not begin to divulge what is before the police, to be honest. A case file has been opened, and what we gathered, even though I cannot report vividly, because the onus will lie on them to actually convince the citizens that this is what transpired. But apparently, it's been established that the staff, the people we caught, are indeed their staff, and that they were basically trying to test run the equipment. Then something like an operator, a major operator who is superior, was excused for whatever reason and all that. And I cannot, what I register, that is clear case of negligence. When you have a duty to do a certain thing and you did not do it properly, it's sheer negligence. Is
RISAA or the police considering sabotage?
Definitely, you cannot foreclose all that, because they are into serious business. It's a business organization. If one particular business organization is thriving more, such could happen. The other way, we do not know. We want to protect our state, the integrity and the sanity. Anybody could want to spike the sentiment of the goings on in the state. As you can see, we have some level of sanity and decorum. You can find it difficult to demarcate this state as it stands now. And we will not allow anything to come from that dimension. We will not conclude as we speak. Like, since the investigation is ongoing, I cannot preempt the outcome. But we have known where it's going. Not any moment from now, the culprits will be paraded before the state CID. They already have been transferred from Olobasanjo police station to the state CID, because it has touched on a criminal act. Because when you talk about public nuisance, it can be both a crime and a tort.
Now, obviously, this is a major breach of public peace and public order. I can't even begin to contemplate the impact that this would have on persons who may have viewed it either real time or even online for that matter. And one would expect, all reverse persons would expect that appropriate sanctions, maybe even the stiffest of penalties, will be unleashed on the perpetrators of this and those responsible. So, is RISAA thinking in that direction, and what is RISAA considering?
We have commenced firstly by confiscating the structure, because the moment an unethical practice is identified, there are provisions in the law that gives us powers to so do. We can confiscate or impound property belonging to an operator or who all of a sudden becomes a defaulter. So we have all put order in place. The place is under lock and key as we speak, been sealed up. Nobody will venture visit that location for now, if not for RISAA and the security operatives. That is one. Secondly, it will be difficult for them to easily commence to operate until this matter is completely sorted out. That is, investigation carried out to its latter, and those found wanting or culpable will be dealt with, and that is, should be left within the ambit of the law.
Besides the staff of this organization that have been apprehended, and no doubt I imagine are being quizzed right now as to what's transpired, has there been, and I expect there must have been, some formal communication between RISAA and the organization responsible for running that facility? And what has been the official response, if there has been any?
That has happened. That has happened. Information I gathered as I got here was that they had even visited the police station. They had exchanged notes about what they felt that happened. They are sure that they are culpable for now. They have admitted that it is their responsibility to answer for what has happened, because that they owned up clearly that never at a time did they seek for approval, neither from RISAA nor from APCON. In fact, one of the APCON staffs called my attention and pleaded that they did not give any approval. They did not, and at that point, I was not to speak with them, because it is for them to defend themselves. What we did is to lay it bare that we do not have any hands in what happened, that because we do not have any hands, we want investigation, thorough one, to be conducted. We want the truth to be told at what happened, because this will definitely not happen again. We will not have this.
Now, obviously, anything that can go wrong, and not just with RISAA, I'm speaking generally right now. I hold certain, I'm not referring to them as principles as such, but I think very strongly that anything that can go wrong at some time or at some point will inevitably go wrong. And that's why laws of even countries are being amended from time to time, because even written constitutions can never envisage every kind of crime or everything that can go wrong. As civilization comes, as modernization, technology improves, things evolve, and we have to also evolve as well to mitigate those challenges. Now, no one may have envisaged something like this would happen. I can't even imagine it in a million years, but now it has happened. So it poses a challenge right now that something like this can happen in the future. What steps then, or what do you think can be done or should be done, or are you doing at the moment to ensure that we're able to preempt actions like this and ensure they don't happen again?
Oh, fantastic. You've just spoken my mind, because those who make laws most times do not contemplate the outcome and the consequences in trying to enforce the law. And so, firstly, I want to say here that there is a need for regulatory bodies to establish serious synergy. It is important to forestall this from happening. There has to be a serious collaborations. If at the time this happened, that the people who ought to have vetted materials, for example, or who are ensuring that before carrying out any form of technical matters, that certain bodies that are saddled with such responsibility ought to be connected or contacted. It means then that there is laxity on their as an operator, because they are major practitioners. If they do not know what they should do, then it means that they are not ready for business. For example, you have a business to commence, and you know that it is not necessary for you to gather a permit and all that. That is your contemplation, without knowing that you ought to have secured the appropriate permit and licenses. To me, that when you're found culpable, when you're caught, then the issue to say that ignorance of the law is never an excuse will not prevail. It will not, hold, because you know what to do and you did not do it. Now, if the regulatory bodies will rise up to their callings, just like what we did, there is need to nip this in the bud. And so I want all those who are one way or the other, for example, to merely leave such structure to the hands of somebody that is an amateur. Is just entirely wrong to those who own the property. That is even one reason, one plank with which we went ahead to clamp down on it. Because it will not amount to anything. No defense whatsoever. No amount of penalty will be able to cure for now. But then they will serve they bear the brunt of what has happened. Our own here is to ensure that we can nip this in the bud going forward, is to ensure that other practitioners in the advertisement industry should learn from what has happened, not just here in Rivers State, elsewhere in the country, because there are several agencies in other states that do the same function that we do, that try to regulate advertisement like we are doing. But the overall, the only body that is saddled with handling issues of mass media in Nigeria is not the state-owned regulatory agencies in advertisement. It is APCON, and there is need, not just in Rivers State, for that body to have a serious collaboration and synergy with all these regulatory bodies.
But I must say that even though the incident is the most unfortunate one, but I must say as well, it's quite commendable the expediency and the speed with which your agency, RISAA, responded to this and shutting it down, commencing investigations, making arrests and dealing with the situation. It very much, in my estimation, in line with some of the reforms and changes you have brought to the agency as well since you took charge of RISAA. Join the conversation right now. The lines are open. 0817 93 0002 0003 or 0007. We're live on facebook.com/Nigeria via Facebook, Echo Lagos. Good to see Tony's face again. It's really an unfortunate incident. Hope the owners of the Billboard get more careful to avoid a repeat. Onyesieji goes, just imagine how careless some people may be to the extent of creating such public embarrassment. Let the law take its full course. Joel Obinna goes, let them face the law. How can you display such rubbish publicly? Isn't that insanity? Join the conversation as well. And to the phone lines right now, we've got Michael from D-Line. Michael, hello, you're welcome. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Dayo, good afternoon to you.
Go ahead, Michael. Go ahead. Yes.
How about these people selling native medicine that are using vulgar languages to advertise all these herbal drugs? You see them in the market, see them in public places, saying raw words in buses to the hearing of children. What is a RISAA or Harcourt?
Michael, if you listen to the acting chairman, anytime he's been on the show, including today, that doesn't fall under the purview of RISAA at all. As far as such advertisement is concerned, APCON and other agencies are responsible for that. Clement Pimentel, you're welcome. Please go on.
All right. Good day, Mr. Dayo, and
you're welcome. Go ahead.
Studio.
Thank you.
Okay. First of all, I want to commend the RISAA for what they have done. But however, I don't know if RISAA has if their what's it called? Their scope also covers the audio content on our street.
No, it doesn't. I believe it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Ours is outdoors.
Okay, maybe just for clarity's sake, it might be ideal if you also clarify what the scope of RISAA is and what exactly you do.
Okay, I have seen that for the umpteenth time, that for media practice in Nigeria, it is APCON that controls, regulates everything about it. That is when you talk about general media, radio, print, and all that, electronic and all that. TV. But RISAA is only dealing with outdoors advertisement, or better put it, out-of-home advertisement. What does that mean? It means those signages that you put by your wall, those standalone signs, those billboard structures that are exposed out on the outside. Even within premises, we have on-premises signages. For example, if you visited a bank, for example, you will see notices, you will see flags put out within the premises. The mere fact that they are exposed to the public, they are not indoors, we will have something to do with it. So anything that happens within, like indoors, are not like maybe somebody is advertising a product on the TV, in your handset and all that. That is not the function of RISAA. So what we deal with is out-of-home advertisement, which means those advertisements that take place on the outside.
Basically, outdoor signage.
Outdoor signage, including and hoarding,
including brand on branding on vehicles,
mobile advertisement, and all that.
All right. Once again, the lines are open. We are on WhatsApp as well. 0809-030-6416. Facebook.com/Nigerian for PH. Ike from OGR, you're welcome. Please go on.
Thank you, Daya.
Straight to your comment to question.
Please, what is the line of business? What were they what were they giving license for to operate on? That's what I want to know.
What is the line of business of what?
Yes.
It's an LED billboard. They are supposed to display advertisements, basically.
But they were supposed to advertise on something. Are they even licensed to advertise on a road, something or something?
Ike, it's very simple. It's an LED billboard. LED billboards simply display pictorial or video adverts. It's I'm not sure how to answer your question really. Okay, Chairman, go ahead.
Let me help you, Dio. Right. Clearly, you will understand what I'm saying. That even as a head of an advertisement agency, that I wouldn't have been qualified to sit here today if I hadn't got an APCON certificate. I'm inducted, haven't passed through the rigors of training, so that qualifies me to sit here. The same thing goes with any media company. Will definitely seek for the license to operate media from no other organization than APCON. All these are stated practitioners to install signage structures. The static signages, those built with ions, the LED, light emitting diode, meaning electronic billboards, and so on and so forth, are what we can allow people or give license to people, including first party permit, like the name of your business and the mobile advertisement, the name you have by your vehicles as you do business with them. These are the areas we as an agency can give permit to. We cannot give you permit on what you write on your vehicle. We will permit you can advertise on your vehicle, but the person whose right it is, whose responsibility it is to vet what kind of name you're putting on your vehicle, will that name be derogatory or not, is no other than APCON. I have said this for the umpteenth time. I think I've made myself very clear here.
I think so as well. Via WhatsApp, BOB Sanderson. Hello, I think it's this is being blown out of proportion. Although the company needs to be held accountable, in civil court and not criminal law. The company running the billboard ought to be the ones making the rounds, apologizing and fixing the reputation, and not RISAA or APCON. All right, what do you make of that? This person says the company that's at fault here, and obviously somebody's at fault here, the organization responsible for that billboard, and he's saying that not you or any government agency should be the one defending this. What's your response to that?
Okay, my response quickly is that this is a developing story. It is inchoate. We are gradually getting to that. Now it's been made public that certain persons who have been caught, or who were supposed to be on ground when this thing happened, now choose to be away from town. So the police has been mandated to go after those people and have them arrested. I think at the appropriate time. That is why I do not want to tamper with the investigation. In less than no time, I'm sure that company is a responsible company. They will do the needful. They will do what is right. They will be able to appear before the police. They will be able to be thoroughly investigated, and they will give reason why whatever happened did happen. I'm sure of that. And I trust the Nigerian police. They will go to the nitty-gritty of this matter.
We got Richard from Rumigbo on the line. Richard, you're welcome. Go ahead. Straight to your comment to question.
All right, straight to my question. I have a question. So, I want to ask your guest, why is it that we have this many agencies? What is it? Why shouldn't RISAA and APCON unite and become one department? Because we see all this oversight. Because right now they don't have the proper communication, line of communication. That's why they didn't know what APCON is doing, and APCON definitely is related to them. But if they are in the same department or the same unit, that can actually fix some of these problems. Don't you think so?
Richard, the chairman will respond to you, but let me give you a very simple answer to that. There is,
right.
I mean, what you are saying is this, that the person who studies advertising before they can practice should also study engineering. That's what you're saying. So what you're saying is that we should merge advertising. No, Richard, so what you're saying is we should merge advertising and engineering into one program. Do you want that to happen?
No, but this is signage.
Exactly. So what RISAA does, Richard, is ensure that even that structure is appropriate. That structure does not pose any risk to anybody. That structure meets standard engineering standards. That structure will not be blown away if a heavy wind or tornado comes along. That's what RISAA does as well.
Okay, cool.
Do you want to add to that, Kevin?
You made my matter simple here. That's exactly what the position is.
Now, via WhatsApp, we got Smart from Agri State going, good evening. Honestly, this is good for us. If our agencies can stand up to their responsibilities like this agency did, and the state is on her way to a better culture and a better future, Rwama and others should borrow from this. Once again, Smart from Agri Estate. Now, like I said, you sat here severally, and we've talked about some of the reforms and innovations you brought to RISAA. Let's talk about that for a bit. What are some of those changes you brought to the workings of RISAA's day-to-day activities?
Yes, in fact, that was what I had already planned to do before this sudden incident. It's nice to be able to straighten issues. Before now, the business, people do not know, the business of holding an advertisement is the sole business of the local government. But for purposes of convenience, states, not Rivers State alone. I think Lagos State appears to be the first state.
Lagos has LASEMA, I believe.
LASA.
Or LASA.
Lagos State
Signage. Okay, LASA, yes.
Virtually all the states in the south and southeast have joined as well. So the issue is that, like somebody said before, to first, avoid unnecessary taxation, to avoid disturbances from several local government areas and all that, the state wanted to have a say, because the River State House of Assembly has powers to make law for and on behalf of the local government areas. So what they did was entering into a kind of memorandum of understanding where they harmonized and surrendered their right to the formation of the signage regulatory body. That is what is happening. The issue that people conflict other agencies that are in advertisement should not come here, because the other is one that regulates on media generally, media including print and electronic media. Whereas this is only saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that only outdoors signage are carried out and properly regulated to avoid unnecessary hazards, to deprive, not in order not to deprive people from doing what are not necessary in terms of having advertisement business in the state. This is not peculiar to Rivers State alone. It's only those that have the agency. And what I'm doing today is not different from what any other regulatory body in this regard will be able to do. So what we've been doing all this while to ensure that things are done properly is that I have been coming to the agents, to the studio on several occasions, on several fora, to try to educate the people. The cliche that ignorance of the law is never an excuse should not avail here at all. Because you will not say that you have not heard about RISAA. RISAA has been in existence for quite over 4 to 5 years now. And so nobody will claim ignorance anymore to say you need to be educated, you need to carry out an orientation program for persons with this modern enlightenment to be able to know that there is an agency whose duty it is to regulate advertisement business in terms of outdoor businesses. So these are what we are trying to do. Put people in line, ensure that due process are usually followed. Because if that is not done, that is when the agency could come up to enforce and carry out any kind of punitive measure.
We got a comment via WhatsApp as well, and Ihai Adele goes, Adele, pardon me, you really did a good job for quick intervention. Thanks to you and your team. Ihai, good to hear from you, and also via WhatsApp. What the advertising organization did was very wrong, no doubt, but my concern is the swift action by the police in arresting the staff of the defaulting company and the way RISAA has also taken the offense this serious. This is a clear case of a mistake caused by negligence, and I expect RISAA and the police to give strict warning to the company. If every criminal case is being handled this way, Rivers State and Nigeria in general will be without crime. Starts from Simon Edison. Now, on one hand, Simon Edison says it's good if you handle it this way, but at the start he was saying that you're acting too tough on the matter. Do you think you're taking this too tough or too seriously?
No, not at all. It's a situation that at this point we are trying to cure a bad situation, but it's better to prevent an issue before it happens, and that has been the reason why I've never stopped educating people. My office is very receptive. People come and we educate them. We have flyers we give to people. This is what we do. We to an extent, that the agency, which I head, is at liberty to give discretion. I have that discretionary powers to tell you that we're not that strict. The mere fact that you're ready to comply with the existing rules and regulation of the agency, you are our friend. We'll work with you. But when you resist compliance, we will be vexed. We will go after you. I give you an instance. There was one time I was physically present to serve demand notices to first-party clients. The people who call first-party clients are owner of businesses, just like you are. You are a first party because you have the name of your business at the wall of your premises. And so we went there. The gentleman, as if he was so powerful enough, took the demand notice. We thought he wanted to comply by way of paying and all that. He tore it before us. What did we do? We didn't confront him because we do not encourage touting. We left him. Went to the police station that is nearby, complained and got police backing and all that. We got him arrested until such a time when he pleaded, for wrongdoing, and he was penalized. He paid. We refused taking him to court because of police advice and all that. Since he has tried to turn a good leaf.
On that note, we have to wrap up the conversation. I've been speaking with the acting chairman of the Rivers State Signage and Advertisement Agency, Honorable Anthony Okeah. He's discussed extensively on the unfortunate incident that transpired with an LED billboard in the garrison area of Port Harcourt sometime yesterday. The swift action taken by the agency and how even more further actions have been taken to ensure penalties, sanctions are awarded appropriately and a repeat doesn't happen again. Like several others, I must commend your agency for the swiftness with which you've responded to this. And like someone said, if other agencies are responding swiftly to complaints and matters, we would have a much better state and by extension better country.
Thank you.
Many thanks for your time. Wish you the very best.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
We've got the news update coming out top of the hour at pardon me, the business news at 4 p.m. Discussions continue afterwards. Please stay with us.